We're back. It's the Thursday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video, Weather for Weather Geeks. Another absolutely picture-perfect October day across the valley today. We had temperatures in the lower 70s. We had wall-to-wall sunshine, just a few wispy, fair weather cirrus clouds. That was about it. Of course, it was dry day today. We've had a lot of dry days of late. Every Thursday we get an update from the Drought Monitor here, and parts of northern Ohio now included in an official drought designation. That includes the Cleveland area down to Akron and Canton. Now, that does not include our television viewing area, but we are abnormally dry, of course, especially from 224 on south. We did have some needed rain a few days ago, especially significant amounts in that dry area, so that's why we did not see parts of our area added to the moderate drought category, because we had some decent rains a few days ago. Now at the airport we didn't have that much a few days ago. We had about a quarter of an inch on Monday, about 0.05 in the rain gauge at the Youngstown Warren Airport on Sunday, bringing our monthly total to a relatively paltry 0.60 inches of rain through the first 10 days of the month. All right, a couple days a week we also get an update on the fall foliage across the Midwest, the Southeast, and up into the Mid-Atlantic states and New England. Colors really reaching their peak. I've seen some great pictures lately of Vermont, New Hampshire, up into Maine. This is pretty typical stuff for them to reach their peak this early in October. Moderate color down to the Interstate 86 corridor in the southern tier of New York. And across I-80, you're going to see some pretty good colors in the higher elevations of north central and northern Pennsylvania as well. And once you get down into the higher terrain of from Johnstown, PA, down across the ridges of eastern West Virginia, far western Virginia. There's some ridges through there that are 2,000 to 3,000 feet in elevation. Yeah, you get some decent color through there because they're higher up. We're also reaching peak colors now, northern Wisconsin, UP of Michigan. Around here, as you know, everything's still pretty low on the foliage scale here, but that'll change over the next couple of weeks. We will be helped out if we get some cooler weather, and I do think we're going to see some cooler weather this weekend and later on next week. For the most part, the last couple of weeks, of course, have been warmer than average, including record warmth back at the start of October. Now, starting late last week on Friday, it has been a somewhat cooler pattern, but still, the last 3 days have been a fair amount above the average, including today. We hit 72 earlier on this afternoon. The cold front that's going to bring about the cooler weekend for us is not hard to find this evening. It's right here. Severe weather threat from the Boot Heel of Missouri back through the Ozarks into eastern Oklahoma, northern Texas as well. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where this front is. This is the last 12 hours of temperatures. Look at that cold air coming east. And one of the most remarkable observations is in Denver. We told you about this yesterday. It reached 82 or 83 yesterday in Denver. It's 53 degrees colder than the same time yesterday in Denver, Colorado. And that's the air temperature. When you factor in the wind, it's more like a 70-plus degree change. And yes, there's some snowflakes flying in the colder air as well. Another beauty here locally coming up on Friday. We'll be in good shape. We're going to be dry for high school football, and then some showers push in early Saturday. Now, we've refined the rain chances on Saturday and pretty much restricted them to before noon. I think by 11 to 12 at the latest. This is going to be pushing east of I-79, and then the sun's going to break out. It's going to be a pleasant, albeit cooler and rather breezy, second half of the day. Saturday, also a breezy day Sunday. Now, Sunday will be warmer than Saturday, as it turns out, but the breeze will make it feel a little bit cooler than it actually is. We had a chilly Friday evening, of course, last week for high school football. This week, quite a bit warmer. 63 at kickoff, 59 by halftime, probably about 55 by the end of our game. So, yeah, hoodie weather, but nothing all that chilly, and certainly an improvement over last week. Speaking of football, YSU homecoming on Saturday against South Dakota State at 6 p.m. at Stambaugh Stadium. Sky should be clear. Gusty breeze from time to time. Temperatures cooling off. It'll feel like October, that's for sure. Kickoff temperature probably about 53, ending up in the 40s by the end of the game. Youngstown Peace Race is Sunday morning. I'll be participating in that, along with meteorologist Andrew DiPaolo, and we'll be running in some pretty nice weather. Sunshine, temperatures warming out of the 40s into the 50s. Actually, pretty ideal running weather, all things considered. Runners like it cool, and we could live without the breeze, of course. As far as the air temperatures as we go into the second half of the day Sunday, I think we'll sneak above average, probably 63, 64 on average on Sunday. And that will begin a 3-day warming trend that will continue into Monday and Tuesday. But then, probably the coolest air of the season so far heads our way second half of next week. I've got 53 for a daytime high coming up next Thursday. Friday also likely to be below average. And then the start of a warming trend next weekend that should continue for several days. Now, at this time of the year, of course, we're concerned about frosts and freezes. Don't think we have much of a threat in the next 5 days. Now, Saturday night, some places are going to get down to 37, 38. There's probably just a little bit of a breeze. I can't totally rule out in the coolest nooks Saturday night, Sunday morning, maybe some light patchy frost. Kind of a similar threat to last Saturday night. Ended up being frost-free last weekend. I suspect most of us are just fine this weekend. With that cool shot at the end of next week, I suspect there's probably a little too much wind for a heavy frost or a hard freeze. So we may be some time until we have a night in the upper 20s and lower 30s, putting an end to the growing season and giving us a heavy frost. I don't think it's real likely over the next week, and then that milder pattern is going to take shape right around the 18th through the 23rd, and so frosts and freezes don't seem particularly likely to me during that stretch. We may be waiting for a late October freeze this time around. All right, thanks for checking out Weather for Weather Geeks this week. I'll have a new edition of this video Monday. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and I'll see you on 21 News at 6 and 11 on Friday.